Hey man, here's the thing most guys miss when they try to make a woman jealous. They go about it all wrong. They're loud and obvious, posting provocative pictures, tagging themselves with other women, dropping subtle hints, or outright saying things they hope will trigger a reaction. They think jealousy is about putting on a show, making a scene, or creating drama. But what they don't realize is that real, deep jealousy, the kind that cuts through her defenses, shakes her confidence, and makes her question the foundation of what she believed you shared, never comes from being flashy or showy. It doesn't come from external noise or surface level moves. True jealousy originates from something far more subtle and powerful. It's a quiet, almost imperceptible shift in your energy. It's not about shouting for attention or desperate attempts to make her notice you. It's about cultivating an intentional, calm distance, a poised indifference that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. This is the crucial difference between manipulation, which tries to force a reaction, and magnetism, which naturally draws her in without effort. When you master this kind of energy shift, you tap into something primal within her psychology, a longing for clarity, a desire to understand what's changed, and most importantly, a drive to chase you. This shift begins when she senses that your world no longer revolves exclusively around her. You haven't become rude or cold, quite the opposite. You're still polite, grounded, and kind, but there's a subtle change. You no longer react instantly or emotionally to her messages. You stop making her the centerpiece of your daily life and cease initiating as frequently, not because you're punishing her, but because you've realigned your priorities and focus. You've stepped back into your own orbit. And here's where it gets interesting. The moment she feels this shift, when your attention quietly pulls away and you stop being her emotional compass, that's when jealousy starts to brew. It's not petty or spiteful jealousy. It's a deep, instinctual response because women are wired to notice where a man's attention flows. Attention is like currency in the emotional marketplace. When it's given freely, without reservation or effort, she might enjoy it, but she won't truly value it. The worth of your attention comes from how much it's earned, how scarce it becomes, and how intentionally you choose to give it. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing, but I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. But here's where the game truly changes. The moment your attention becomes something she has to earn, something that isn't handed to her freely or on demand, her entire mindset shifts. Suddenly, she's watching. She's paying attention in ways she never did before. She starts checking if you've seen her story. She wonders why you didn't follow up with a second message or respond as quickly as you used to. Every moment of silence on your end becomes a puzzle piece she tries desperately to fit together. She's decoding your absence, searching for hidden meaning in every unread text or delayed reply. And all that mental activity, that anxious, curious, questioning energy, that's the root of true jealousy. It's not about you being out with another woman or posting pictures to provoke her. No, it runs deeper. It's about the uncertainty she feels when she's no longer sure if she's the only woman on your mind. It's that emotional gap, that ambiguity about your feelings and focus that sets off the alarm bells in her heart and mind. Now, here's the real truth, man. This shift only works when it's genuine. You can't fake it. You're not pretending to be busy just to confuse her. You're not putting on a show of indifference or disinterest. You are, in fact, simply less available because you've made deliberate choices to focus on yourself. Maybe you're spending extra time in the gym, pushing harder physically and mentally. Maybe you're diving deeper into your mission, your goals, and your purpose. Perhaps you're surrounding yourself with people who uplift your energy instead of draining it, and you're fiercely protecting your peace. Because of this, your presence becomes scarce, not cold, not hostile, but rare. And when something rare slips through her fingers, her mind can't help but chase it. She starts comparing herself to an invisible competition. She wonders quietly, is there someone else who has his attention now? And that jealousy, surprisingly, comes from respect, not insecurity. It's a respect born from recognizing your value and the fact that your time and attention aren't easy to come by. This is why the most powerful form of jealousy is often unspoken. You don't need to flaunt other women or drop hints about new connections. You just remain silent, and that silence carries weight. It forces her to confront questions in her own mind. Why hasn't he checked in today? Why didn't he reply immediately like he used to? What is he thinking about? Who else is on his mind? The more she asks these questions, the more she feels a rising emotional urgency. Not because you've manipulated her, but because your absence has revealed the depth of her attachment. Most guys think making her jealous is about creating external triggers, showing off, posting, bragging. But the truth is, it's all internal. It's about how she feels in the presence or absence of your energy. If your energy is too available, too obvious, too reactive, she feels safe. But that safety is the wrong kind. It breeds comfort, certainty, and ultimately boredom. And boredom is the enemy of attraction. But here's the transformative power of pulling back into yourself. When you stop over-explaining, stop chasing after her approval, and stop performing just to keep her attention, you become unreadable. And unreadable is irresistible. It's like a magnetic mystery. Now, she's not just passively experiencing who you are. Instead, she's chasing after clarity, desperate to understand what you truly feel beneath that calm exterior. That chase, that longing for understanding, is where the first sparks of real jealousy ignite. The secret to making this work is subtlety. You don't have to announce, "I'm busy," as if that alone would make her feel your absence. You don't have to declare, "I'm doing my own thing now," hoping that stating it aloud somehow convinces her. No, you simply are busy. You do your own thing. You embody it fully and let her sense the change through your actions, your rhythm, your presence, or lack thereof. You allow her to feel the shift before you ever speak about it. You let her experience the quiet of your silence long before you break it with words. And in that silence, between who you used to be and who you are now, she feels something profound, the echo of what she's lost. It's not in the words you say or don't say, but in the emotional distance you create. That calm, steady distance is what makes her start looking around, wondering, who has his attention now? Who holds that place I once had? This shift doesn't come from pettiness or manipulation. It requires no petty games, no cryptic posts, or indirect messages meant to rile her up. It's pure growth. You're not making her jealous to punish her or to stir drama. You're simply becoming less available than you used to be because you're busy living, evolving, and rising into a better version of yourself. You're no longer the same man who texted her 3 times a day, eager for her every response. Instead, you've become selective with your attention and your time, and that selectivity, that purposeful restraint, makes her stop and wonder where she really stands. When a woman starts questioning her place in your life, especially when she once felt certain and secure, that's when the subtle fear of loss creeps in. And make no mistake, that fear of loss is the fertile seed from which renewed attraction grows. Let me be perfectly clear. Jealousy is never created through cruelty or manipulation. It's not about being cold, harsh, or playing mind games. True jealousy arises from being calm, steady, and present, but with a certain level of emotional detachment. You stop fighting for her attention like it's something you need to win every day. Instead, you start protecting your focus, your energy, and your peace. You don't stop caring about her, but you stop feeling the need to prove your care constantly. You don't disappear on her or ghost her, which is an act of disrespect and confusion. Instead, you simply stop giving instant emotional reassurance. You create space between your words and your feelings, and that absence of immediate comfort, that pause where she doesn't get a quick reply or a rushed explanation, makes her crave the certainty she once took for granted, the certainty of your attention, your affection, your presence. But here's the twist. Now that certainty has a cost. It's no longer free or automatic. She has to show up differently, better, softer, more thoughtful, and more intentional, because she knows your attention isn't something she can assume anymore. It has to be earned, respected, and reciprocated. And here's the beauty of this shift. It's self-sustaining. You don't have to constantly hustle to maintain it. All you need to do is return to yourself. Spend more time in silence, spend more time alone, spend more time creating, building, exploring your passions and your mission. The less noise you make, the more questions she asks. The fewer signals you send, the more curious she becomes. And with that curiosity comes desire, an emotional tension that quietly simmers beneath the surface. And here's the best part. You never had to brag, never had to fake confidence or create drama. You simply pulled your energy back into your own world. As she begins to feel that shift, you'll notice something almost immediate. She starts sending more signals, little tests of interest, a random text just to check in, a post designed to catch your eye, a nostalgic memory brought up out of nowhere. And here's where most guys falter. They get excited. They misinterpret these signals as a green light to dive right back into old patterns, pouring their time, attention, and energy back into her as if the shift never happened. But the man who truly understands this psychology doesn't chase after her responses or desperately seek validation from her every message or action. Instead, he holds the frame firmly. He doesn't rush to reward her attention with immediate replies or over-the-top gestures. He observes quietly and stays calm, knowing full well that the moment he breaks his steady pace for her, when he bends to meet her emotional demands, he resets the entire power dynamic and the spell is broken. What makes this subtle shift so incredibly powerful is that it brings out her genuine effort without ever having to demand it. She begins to do more. Not because you instructed her or pressured her to, but because she feels an innate need to earn back the presence and attention she once took for granted. That alone, that voluntary effort born from her own desire, is the purest essence of what high-value energy looks like. You didn't punish her, you didn't play childish games, and you certainly didn't manipulate her feelings. What you did was create an emotional vacuum by returning fully to your own center, your own life, your own mission, your own peace. And that vacuum, that absence you created, pulled her back in with a force far stronger than any argument, any romantic gesture, or any desperate plea for attention ever could. The most difficult part of this entire shift isn't creating it, it's maintaining it. Because once she begins reacting, once she starts pulling on your energy strings again, you'll feel that old familiar urge rise up inside you, to reassure her, to make things comfortable again, to restore the relationship to what it was before. But you must resist that urge. Remember this, the version of you she's now chasing, the man she's drawn to, is not the one who constantly bends or reassures. He's not cold, but he's not reactive. He's not mean, but he is disciplined, and it's that discipline that makes him truly unforgettable. It's what builds the respect that can't be bought, begged for, or demanded. You'll begin to notice a shift in how she communicates with you. Her texts become more thoughtful and meaningful. Her tone carries a new respect and consideration. She stops assuming your time and attention are guaranteed and instead begins to ask for them, showing a newfound awareness that your presence is valuable and not to be taken lightly. Why does this work so profoundly? Because the uncertainty you introduced, the subtle pullback of your energy, made her realize that your attention and presence are no longer automatic or guaranteed. That realization doesn't just spark jealousy, it ignites a deeper, more powerful emotion, desire. She's no longer simply fighting for your fleeting attention. She's fighting to prove to herself that she still matters to a man who's clearly evolving, growing, and moving beyond her immediate grasp. And here lies the subtle magic of this transformation. It repositions you as the prize, not because you told her so or flaunted it, but because you embodied it through your actions and your energy. Through your calm distance and unwavering discipline, you showed her that you don't chase, you choose. And now, if she wants to be chosen again, she has to step up her game. She has to elevate her behavior. She has to lead with softness, warmth, and genuine femininity, because without uttering a single word, you reminded her that access to your emotional world isn't something to be assumed or taken for granted. Access to you is something sacred, something that's earned through respect, effort, and authentic connection. This is precisely where a woman's true nature reveals itself. When you stop flooding her with constant attention and reassurance, the surface level performance fades away. What remains after that stripping away is what's real. If she genuinely values you for your essence, your character, and your presence, she will respond to this shift. She'll adjust, re-engage, and come correct. But if her interest was only ever about your attention, your availability, and not your true self, she will quietly fade away. And here's the key. Either way, you win. This subtle shift acts like a natural filter, separating those who are truly aligned with your growth and vision from those who simply enjoyed being the center of your world. You'll also begin to notice how differently you feel in the process. You're no longer emotionally drained from chasing or worrying. You're no longer tiptoeing around, trying to keep her attention or avoid conflict. Instead, you're relaxed, grounded, and confident in your own space and energy. You find yourself relaxed, present, and focused, and that calm, grounded energy becomes irresistibly attractive to everyone around you, not just her. People, especially women, have an innate ability to sense the difference between a man who is emotionally full and self-assured versus one who is emotionally hungry or needy. That shift in your energy sends a powerful signal. When she notices that other women are naturally drawn to you, not because of flashy moves, boastful displays, or desperate attempts, but because of the genuine magnetism radiating from your presence, her jealousy deepens. It's no longer just about the fear of losing your attention. It becomes a deeper worry about losing you altogether. Losing you to someone who respects your value in ways she perhaps never did. But here's the critical point. This dynamic only works when you're not doing it to provoke or manipulate her. You're not playing games to trigger jealousy. Instead, you're living authentically, pouring your energy and attention back into yourself. And the byproduct of that reinvestment, of committing to your growth and peace, is magnetism. That undeniable glow in your skin, the calm steadiness in your voice, the mysterious confidence in your pace. These qualities make her pause and reflect. She starts comparing the man you were before to the man you are now. And once she feels that evolution, once it sinks in that she can't get the same version of you just by showing up, that's when she experiences real jealousy. The kind that stirs quietly and deeply, the kind born from the silent loss of something truly valuable. And when she finally reaches out, when she starts chasing you again, here's the crucial move. Don't overcorrect. Resist the urge to fall back into old patterns or become the man she once knew. Stay steady, grounded, and calm. Let her earn your presence. Let her feel the weight and significance of your attention, but make it clear that it's reserved only for those who show consistency and respect. This is how you maintain true attraction. It's not about being the most available man in her life. It's about being the most centered and self-possessed version of yourself. Because in the end, this subtle shift that sparks jealousy isn't some petty trick or game. It's a profound transformation. You stopped pouring your energy into her and started pouring it into yourself. You stopped reacting emotionally and began observing calmly. You stopped being the easy, predictable win and instead became the man she now fears losing. Not because you threatened her, but because you became more valuable than her pride could afford to ignore. And once she feels that shift, once she sees the man who stopped chasing her and started chasing his own life and growth, that's when the real game changes. The dynamics flip. the power balances, and the attraction evolves into something deeper, more authentic, and undeniably magnetic. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.